I hope that participants from the workshop will kind of step away and go, wow, and it inspires them to do more for the marine environment and for herring and for salmon. Today we are in the VIU Deep Bay Marine Field Station, and we are bringing together First Nations partners, NGO partners, PSF staff, and everyone that was on the project to really celebrate the work.
So the fact that we don't know much about herring and how critical they are to wild salmon and their health and survival and well-being, this ranks it very high as a priority for the Salmon Foundation.
The original goal of the Salmon-Herring Interactions project was to understand salmon and herring better. There were 4 goals. The first one was really to understand why herring are important to salmon in their diets specifically. The second was to understand herring themselves, understand if they migrate, understand how many there are in different schools in the Strait of Georgia and how they move around. And then the third goal was to understand why herring spawn in some areas but not in others, looking at contaminants, looking at vegetation. The fourth goal was to make sure that we're providing funding to nations to allow them to really document and share their ecological knowledge with their communities in a creative way.
Burnett LaLiberty. I am a senior biologist with Cowichan Tribe. For someone from Cowichan who helped work on this, we didn't get to go up and work with Tla'amin or Atligay. So having that ability for just the nations to come together as well and talk about their experiences, what worked, what didn't, what are their plans to continue the work, and if there's the ability to create those further relationships to say, hey, well, if you guys are going to go out, in the summer, give us a heads up. Maybe we can offer support if it's needed.
My name is Paul Stonehouse. I'm a guardian watchman for the Tla'amin Nation. It's nice to see that this work is being done out there. It's a great opportunity for our nation to be involved in collaboration with PSF, also to bring in the youth and teach them as we go.
My name is Hayden West. I'm a field technician for Atligay Fisheries. The relationship between just hanging out with different crew members and different companies, and it was always easy and enjoyable. At the end of the day, we would always talk about oh, I had so much fun with this person. The conversations are always great.
I think this project is different for a couple of reasons. From a scientific point of view, we're following the interactions of herring and salmon right from when salmon are first entering the ocean and encountering juvenile herring through to when they're adults and on their way back to spawn, feeding on adult herring, and then also following the herring from the very beginning of their life cycle to the end, and doing that through the year. So I think that stood out for me as something that's unique, different, and important about this work.
Just seeing all of the life that's there, and there's whales, there's birds, and they're all feeding on these big aggregations of herring. And as we're surveying, we can see live kind of the herring schools showing up on the echo sounder. And so it's really cool to see the hub of biodiversity that centers around herring in these areas and be able to be there and be sampling.
I would hope that some lasting outcomes from this project would not only be ongoing work in regards to herring, that it doesn't just get put back on the shelf, that it continues to be just as important as salmon in regards to any type of research or funding opportunities.
So some of my hopes after this project is that with the knowledge, the research, and the data that we've collected, that we are able to clearly prove and use as a leverage to government that policies need to be changed.
It was also really cool to learn more history about the area, the oral history of a place I grew up but maybe hadn't heard in the past, and just having that one-on-one time on the water was a cool opportunity.
I hope that people move away from this workshop and are proud of the work that they did together.
What this project means to me Personally, it's about the people I work with and the relationships I've built. Everyone adds their own perspective and brings their own skill set to the project. And I think that is what has made it such a successful project.